doing, Boston? It's Alex Barth with you on AFC Championship Eve. Not just any AFC Championship Eve. The New England Patriots are playing for a chance to go to the Super Bowl tomorrow. Can you feel that? The anticipation right now. The anticipation, the buzz in the city, in the region. The big game tomorrow. The storm tomorrow. A chance to go to the Super Bowl. It just feels like there's so much ahead of us here in the next 24 to 48 hours. We're less than 24 hours from kickoff now between the Patriots and the Broncos. The anticipation of all of it just is great. Plus, Celtics coming off an awesome win last night. Really fun game, back and forth game. Young players stepping up. Talk about anticipation. Jason Tatum. Anticipating the potential return of Jason Tatum at some point. The Bruins, they're playing tonight. Montreal Canadiens, the Habs, big rivalry down at TD Garden. There's so much to look forward to here in the next 24, 36 hours. Maybe not the storm for some people. I enjoy a good snowstorm. Not too many, but one or two. 2015 was a bit much. But, there's so much here coming up in the next 36 hours. We're going to talk about all of it here in the next 90 minutes. I'll be taking you up to Bruins pregame at 6:30. And, of course, we'll have the call of that. We'll have the call of Celtics Bulls tonight as well. Something cool happening during that game that I'll talk about a little later in the show. George Sepulveda behind the glass as well. Sticking around. I appreciate you sticking around for the fifth hour here, George.
Yes, you're very welcome. Obviously, the dinner as soon as I get home, I would say, to the wife. But, knickknacks and plenty of goodies here supplied by the office, getting people ready not just for today, but then the storm tomorrow and the big one Monday.
Are you a big snowstorm guy or no? Are you looking forward to it or you just want nothing to do with it?
Actually, and shout out to the wife too, she put in my brain that my kids who are 5 and 3, they haven't really seen like accumulated snow. They've seen like oddball and random snow days, but this is one to probably take them out on a Monday and get them sledding and throwing snowballs and get the boots out there for sure. So I'm eager.
It's going to be the biggest storm we've had in a while. If you've listened to me on here before snowstorms in the past, I usually do this bit with Matt McCarthy. I've long said that we should be able to bet on snow totals and go take wherever the National Weather Service takes their official count. I think it's at Logan. Or they take it at different places in different towns. I know, like the Blue Hills Observatory, I think they take account there, whatever. We should be able to bet on it. Over, under. Look at the forecast. Look at the total. Set it. So if you call in today from your town, too, I might look up what town or what city you're calling from, and I want to know if you're expecting over or under for, it's not really tomorrow. It's tomorrow and Monday.
Correct, yeah. And I live in the North Worcester Hills, so Leominster, Fitchburg. I live in Leominster now, so a little bit less hilly than Fitchburg, but we're always getting bombarded out there. It's nice to kind of see that looks like the Boston and Suffolk County area is going to get hit the hardest there. Then, the eastern part of the state has like a big pocket, but you could tell when the meteorologists have kind of given up, Barth. They kind of given up on the inch totals and just 1-2 feet plus 18, 24 plus. So it is eager to get the over-under because I'm anticipating at least 1.5 feet at my neck of the woods.
So I think your area, they're saying 12 to 18, so we'll split the difference. What is that, 15?
Right, yeah.
Call 14.5. Over-under 14.5, George.
I'm taking the over because I'm expecting at least 16.
I am in Quincy.
Oh, you guys, I feel for you guys because I think of that,
that little
ocean effect as well.
Fox had the 25, Boston 25 had like the little red strip. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And I think we were in the red strip in Quincy, if I remember correctly.
God bless the South Shore this time.
They got rid of the red strip late yesterday, but let's see, we are set for, and of course there's a million ads on here. Whatever it is, I'm going to take the over. I usually take the under on these. I'm going to take the over. So we'll have some fun with this. Oh, no, we're at 1 to 2 feet. So that's 12 to 24. So 18. I'm going to take, what would the halfway between 12 and 24 be? 18?
18, yeah.
I just don't see 18. I'm going to take the under on 18. I think it's going to be
20
close.
Plus, and that's when they've given up, right? They've given up for you guys. Like, yeah, you know what? I'm throwing my hands in the air. 100% chance. And, I'll wager 18 for you guys over them.
Shout out in the chat. Somebody mentioned Hull. I'm a big fan of Hull. Hopefully they they handle it okay. So we'll talk about the snow. I also want to talk about this game. Obviously, you want to get into the Bruins and Celtics as well. I do actually have a take on the Celtics game tonight, not necessarily related to the Celtics, but the NBA as a whole I want to get to, so we can do all of that, 617-779-0985. But just an opening take, if you haven't heard it, me and Matt Dolph, we host the Patriots Hub podcast every week on 985thesportshub.com. We have our game preview up. We'll also be back tomorrow for Sports Hub Sunday kickoff, 8 to noon. We got another 4-hour show for you. But just to kind of reset my big take on this game as it relates to the Patriots, and the biggest story going in, maybe the biggest story of championship weekend, either game, all four teams, is the Broncos being without their quarterback. And that dramatic moment I think we all had last week when Broncos-Bills, great game. You get done watching it. In my case, I was trying to sneak in, going to pick up dinner before the NFC game started. And, I get a text from Ty Anderson in the group that, hey, Bo Nix broke his ankle. He's out. And, whoa, okay. Changes the dynamic of everything. And that has continued to be the big story going into this week. I think rightfully so. Jarrett Stidham, former Patriot, adds another layer to it. Will start this game for Denver. And I think a lot of people look at that and say backup quarterback, a guy that hasn't thrown a pass in a regular season game in years, multiple years, making his first career playoff start. The Patriots should win this going away. I don't know that I feel that strongly about it. And maybe this is because I'm lower on Bo Nix than most people. Let's say the injury didn't happen. The Broncos, all due respect to Bo Nix, all due respect to Jarrett Stidham, the Broncos always were and were always going to be about their defense and how far their defense was going to carry them, what their defense was going to be able to do against elite quarterbacks, forcing all those turnovers against Josh Allen last week, for example, though Josh Allen was certainly complicit in a number of those. That, to me, is what this game was always going to be about, Bo Nix or Jarrett Stidham, and that is still the case. If Jarrett Stidham was out there filling in for Nick Bonito, rushing the passer, or Jarrett Stidham was out there playing corner instead of Patrick Surtain, yeah, I feel a lot better about the Patriots. But that's not the case. Is there a drop-off from Bo Nix to Jarrett Stidham? Absolutely. And I'm not buying a lot of the Jarrett Stidham hype this week. If the Broncos really felt this good, I think they'd keep it under wraps. And yeah, let the Patriots believe that, woe is them, backup quarterback, they'll cruise, right? But you still got to beat this defense. The Patriots still have to beat this defense. I don't think this defense is as tough as Houston's. I think Houston's defense is better. But if we have to use the two defenses the Patriots have faced so far in the playoffs this year, the Texans and the Chargers, I think the Broncos defense is closer to the Texans than it is to the Chargers. Still a very good unit. There's not quite as much star power. It's not quite as deep, but it's the real deal. That defense is the real deal. Now, that all being said, the Patriots still can and very much should win this game. I'm expecting the Patriots to win. I think we're going to be in for a little bit of a nail-biter, though. I think it's going to be a close, low-scoring, pull-your-hair-out kind of game.
Rock fight.
And if the Patriots can win a game like that, in that environment, against that team, you feel really good about it, whether that's going into the Super Bowl, whether that's going into next year with the core they've built. I think this is going to be a little bit of a closer one than some people are expecting. But I think the Patriots can and should pull it out. I just don't buy the Jarrett Stidham thing as much. Like, the big change to me is Nix is more mobile. And he can do more in terms of rollouts. He can do more in terms of extending plays. And he can create with his legs. It's not that Stidham can't do that. He's not a statue. But he's not nearly as dynamic. The rollout stuff is still maybe a little bit in play, but not as much as Nix. He's not going to do as well extending plays, and they're certainly not going to call design runs for him. That's the biggest difference to me. He is relatively accurate. If you give him windows, he's going to hit them, and that was kind of the case with Bo Nix this year. They just did so many different things that it was really hard to keep all the windows closed. If the Patriots spin the dial and get pressure on Jarrett Stidham, they should be okay. But I still think it's going to be a close, low-scoring game. And again, maybe that makes me a Bo Nix hater. I was not high on him in the draft, and I definitely like him better now than I did then. I don't count out what he's done. That's the other thing about Knicks. He has made some good plays late in games. He's shown that clutch gene, and he deserves credit for that. And we don't know if Jarrett Stidham will be able to do that. But a lot of those plays late in games, it's like 17-14. And it's his first big drive of the game. He makes plays late, but he doesn't necessarily make them early. So that's something to watch for. All right, wow, that was I looked up at the clock thinking it was going to be like 10 past. It's already 6 past. How about that? We're gonna fly through this, George. We're gonna have you home eating dinner before you know it. We do have to take a break here, though. When we come back, Nate, Michael, I see you on the phone. We'll go to your calls. It's Alex Barth taking you up until Bruins coverage on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports, 98.5. Celtics, the Patriots, the Sox, the Revs, and you. We're Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Back here on 98.5 The Sports Hub, it's Alex Barth taking you up until Bruins coverage at 6:30. We have Celtics coverage tonight as well at 7:30. That's going to be over on 105.7 WROR. Open to talk about either of those teams if you want, but the calls lining up for the Patriots, 617-779-0985. You want to hop on? Let's start with Nate in Connecticut. Nate.
Hey, can you guys hear me well?
I got you.
So Mac Hollins coming back, activated off IR, is obviously really huge for Drake. The catches that he's been able to make climbing the ladder and going deep, very beneficial for us. What do you guys think his game is going to look like tomorrow, considering that he just got activated? Do you think he's going to be a full go, or do you think he's going to be limited in some spots? And on a second note, we don't really perform well in Denver when it comes to playoff time, and I believe that this is the year that changes. So I just want your thoughts on that and the environment that we're going to be facing. And on a side note, I know that we decided not to leave to Denver until I think, was it like today or yesterday, one of those 2 days. Yep. What do you think on that for like the altitude changes? Because I was reading something, and some doctors would have probably chose to go a little earlier to get acclimated to the altitude. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for the call, Nate. On Mac Hollins, getting him back is big. He's been one of Drake May's most trusted wide receivers. He adds much needed size and physicality to that wide receiver group. He's somebody that can play as a blocker and maybe cuts down the need to use that 6 offensive line package with Thayer Munford, which has been good, but it just is a little predictable. And when you get Mac Hollins out there, you can throw out of those formations. Is he going to be 100%? I don't know. He didn't even return to practice until Thursday. Usually guys come back on Wednesday. But the fact they activated him, they're not going to activate him just for a feel-good story. He's been traveling with the team since he was hurt. He can still be on the sideline and be there to talk to guys and motivate. They activated him to play. So maybe it's a smaller role than usual, but I'm still expecting to see him. As the environment, the elevation, all of that. So I've seen a couple different people like doctors and scientists, which I am not, so I don't know, talk about this. One thing I saw was it can take a few days, like it can take close to a week to get fully adjusted. So obviously that going out to Denver for the full week would not have been realistic, and the worst of the change maybe hits about a day or two in. So if you go out right on Friday, that change may be hitting during the game on Sunday, and you get out there quick and you just try to get through the game before it really hits you. I think that, look, it would be ideal if they could have gone out last week, right? But they couldn't. That's not how it works. This coaching staff has done a good job of preparing for things like this. Remember when they had the game in Tampa, which is another kind of conditions, unique situation in terms of the way that game dehydrates you. And it's not so much during the game, but the fallout from the game of playing down there. And then that was going into the Thursday night games. They didn't have a lot of time to turn around. And there was a lot talked about how the training staff, the medical staff, the strength and conditioning staff had a very specific plan in getting players on IVs and getting them hydrated before they got on the flight. And then when they got back, players going right for treatment, things like that. So players have talked this week a lot about hydration and conditioning and things like that. I think they believe in their doctors to mitigate the issue because, you go out there early, you're maybe going to be able to deal with the conditions a little better. It creates a whole other host of logistical problems that you have to solve. And I wonder if they just feel confident in their doctors that, hey, we're going to get everybody hydrated and conditioned and ready, and then that way we can be practicing at home and we can deal with this. And practices on the road are tough, man. They're not easy to do, and that's what they would have had to do if they left early. So that's a thought on that. Let's go to Michael in Bedford. Michael, real quick here before your take. I'm going to tell you this. Bedford projected 1 to 2 feet of snow. Over under 18.5 inches in Bedford. What do you think?
I got the under here. I mean, it never really snows that much. It just gets real cold over here. So I'm taking the under. It
is definitely real cold. All right, we got an under on the board for Bedford. Michael, what do you got on this game?
All right, man. I mean, I could not agree with you more about Bo Nix and him not being that great. And I think I would go as far to say that Jared Stidham playing in this game might put the Patriots at a disadvantage. When you look at the tape, man, in pure passing ability, I think that Jared Stidham is just as good as Bo Nix. And we have less tape to go off against this guy. And even though the Patriots have done a real good job at this season, there is a chance that we might play down to them. Because you look at all the Patriots fans, we're acting like we're already in the Super Bowl when that's very far from the case. And Bo Nix was not the guy that got these guys this far. It's that defense. It's the players around Bo Nix. It's the whole team. You know, so that's what I have to say. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for the call, Michael. It's more the second part. I think Jared Stidham is maybe a little bit of a better passer than people give him credit for. Some of the stuff Nix does off schedule, Stidham's not going to be able to do. And in a game like this, you have to be able to do that. I don't think the gap is as big as some people saying, but it's really that second part. It's the Broncos defense. And are they going to be able to force turnovers like they did last week? And are they going to be able to stifle the run game like they have and force the Patriots to be one-dimensional where they haven't been as good? You still have to beat this defense. Again, Jared Stidham is not going out there in place of Patrick Surtain and Nick Bonito. I would feel a lot better if he was, but he's not. And that's why I'm not, to his point, I'm not putting them in the Super Bowl yet. Again, they should win. I think they will win. I think they should win. I don't think this is some run away with it, go away blowout that, okay, it's a backup quarterback, and so he's just going to be bad. The other thing is Sean Payton's a really good coach, offensive play caller, and he's going to do his best to protect his quarterback. He's not going to expose Stidham if he doesn't have to. Now, if the Patriots can get an early lead, if the defense can keep them off script behind the chains and put him in second and long, third and long, well, now Stidham's in a spot where he has to be exposed. And then that's where the Patriots have a major advantage. But Sean Payton's not going to do that unless he absolutely has to, which is why I think this might be a close game. Hugh Sean in Easton disagrees, but before you get to that, 18 inches over under in Easton, forecast for 1 to 2 feet. What do you got?
33 inches of snow.
33, okay, well over. I love it, Hugh Sean. What do you think about this game?
Well, I think boys told me the Patriots going to win 38-0. And boys say Hunter Henry going to score a lot of touchdowns.
All right, 38-0, a lot of touchdowns for Hunter Henry. I do like Hunter Henry in this game. Whatever you want to qualify as a lot of touchdowns, feel free. The Broncos have struggled covering tight ends this year, and Dalton Kincaid had a ton of chances last week. So if the pressure's on Drake May, he's looking at that security blanket. I do really like Drake May in this game, in this spot. Steven in Dorchester has a thought on it, but you're in that 1 to 2 feet range too. 18 inches over, under in Dorchester.
I definitely think under.
Okay.
But, yeah. But to regard, I wanted to talk a little bit about the altitude. You know, I think Rabel is doing a good decision about taking the team out, you know, a day before because he just wants to get in and out. That's their only job. They want to get in and out. So it's like 18 to 47 hours to avoid the sickness. And then the other reason that you go would be 10 to 14 days before. So I think it's a smart move. He wants to get in and out. He knows what he's doing. Regarding to the game itself, I think that the Patriots, the only reason that they'll lose this game is if they beat themselves. No, you can't. You got to limit the turnovers with the offensive line. And I personally do think that Broncos defense is good, but they're not what everyone likes to say they are. You know, they have a couple of good players here and there, but there is holes in that defense that I think will expose. So I want to hear you guys' thoughts, and thank you for taking my call.
Thanks for the call, Steven. It's a great point on the Broncos defense. There's good, but there's maybe some holes in between here and there. I actually want to dive a little deeper into it. We got to hit a break. I'm going to answer that, though, on the other side, coming back here. Let's talk about where this Broncos defense can win, where it can give the Patriots trouble, and where the Patriots can maybe carve out an advantage or two in this game. I want to get into that. What are we expecting from Drake May tomorrow as well? Plus your calls, 617-779-0985. It's Alex Barth on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for... matter what game, it all happens here. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
He's there for a reason. He is one of the better backups in football. But he's got a defense here that we know is one of the best in football, and I do think matches up pretty well with the New England Patriots, right? There's only really one issue I have with the Broncos. There were two, I should say, on the defensive side of the ball. One, as we saw last week against Buffalo, they're not real big in the interior part of their D line. The other thing that I sometimes watch them and go, why are you guys are too good to be so aggressive all the time? We don't always need to go for the kill. Play a little normal defense every now and then, right? I think some of the reasons they let up some of the big plays and stuff is because people are like, ooh, I think they're going to do this or do this and be over aggressive in this situation. And now I can kind of dial something up during the week to kind of stop that and make a big play down the football field. They take unnecessary chances.
Was Chris Sims on the Broncos defense, hits on some key points. How are the Patriots going to attack what is another elite defensive unit? They've played, I don't know, Chargers might be a little short of elite. The Texans are obviously unbelievable. This Broncos defense I'd put in that category, a step below, but in that category. So how do the Patriots attack them? And we use the Texans defense as kind of a point of comparison to help explain it. So starting up front, because they're kind of opposites between the front and the back end. Up front, the Texans' defense is Will Anderson, who is a top 3 pass rusher in the NFL. He's not Myles Garrett. He's in the conversation after Myles Garrett, though. And then Danielle Hunter, who's obviously fantastic as well, top 10 guy at the position. But they didn't really have a ton of depth behind them. Not much of an interior rush. It was just those two guys. Now, just those two guys, when it's those two, when it's Anderson and Hunter, they can do plenty on their own. They can do plenty on their own to cause havoc, and they did that last week. The Denver defense, now Nick Bonito, when I say he's not Will Anderson, he's still a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. He's still very good. But he's not the physical freak that Anderson and Hunter are. He's more of a pure speed rusher, 6'3", 240, and that's probably generous. He's a really good speed rusher, but that's what he does. He's not the every tool in the toolbox guy like a Will Anderson is. After him, they don't have a Danielle Hunter type, but it's more spread out. Jonathan Cooper, John Franklin Myers, both solid rushers. And then in the middle, they have Zach Allen, who led all defensive tackles this year in pressures. He is better on the interior than anybody Houston had. So it's not, you got to worry about these two monsters off the edge. It's more of a even spread, like anybody can get you. I think that's better for the Patriots. I think that's easier for the Patriots to handle, even though it's a wider spread of talent. They're a good line on the interior. Garrett Bradbury's played well. Michael Onwenu's playing some unbelievable football last month and a half. And you hope Jared Wilson can take a step up. I like Nick Bonito better as a matchup for Will Campbell. Now, he's got to do a better job of getting back in that stance. And, you know, with his knee banged up, that's easier said than done. But Nick Bonito's the kind of guy, once Will Campbell gets his hands on, it's going to be over. He's the kind of guy that he can kind of toss around a little bit. I would expect them to have Bonito and Allen running games and hunt that left side of the line, that rookie left side of the line with those two. But there is no, like, Will Anderson type pass rusher that you can just pencil this guy in for a sack and a half, 2 sacks. The Broncos don't have that kind of guy. So some might say that's harder, that it's a wider spread. I think when you look at what the Patriots have, it's not quite as bad. It doesn't mean they're going to be easy to block. Offensive line has to play better. Drake May has to do a better job of taking care of the football. But I think this is a better fit against the Patriots. Then in the secondary. So in the secondary, Houston was much more spread out. Derek Stingley, great corner, one of the best in the league. The 3 best man cover corners in the league might be Derek Stingley, who the Patriots played last week, Pat Surtain, who they're going to play this week, and Christian Gonzalez, who they have and won't be playing. That's it, same level of player. But Kamari Lassiter on the other side, also very good player. Not the kind of guy you want to throw at, but you have to because you don't want to throw at Stingley. And then Jalen Petrie, tremendous slot corner hybrid safety in Houston. Denver doesn't have that kind of depth in the secondary. Surtain, unbelievable. Unbelievable player, maybe the best corner in the league. He's going to take a receiver away. Now, whether that's Kayshon Boutte, whether that's Mac Hollins, whether that's Stephon Diggs, there's going to be a little bit of a cat and mouse game going on, I think, tomorrow as the Patriots try to keep Diggs off of Surtain and the Broncos try to put Surtain on him. Surtain will travel side to side, but he won't go in the slot. So do you put Diggs in the slot, or do you try to get Diggs on the boundary off Surtain because their other corner, Riley Moss, not as good? And that gets into the other weakness for this Broncos defense. Their safeties, though, just to finish it, they do have good safeties. Hufanga's a really good, strong safety, knows for the football. Him and Alex Singleton, the linebacker, flying around in the middle of the field, they swarm the football. It's going to be hard to get yards after the catch in this game. He's a good player, but his strength isn't, I wouldn't call his strength coverage, but I still think he's a really good player. He's not a bad coverage player. PJ Locke is their free safety. He's played all year, but he's only started 3 games, now 4 with the playoffs. He's been playing really well, but came into the season as a backup. So another guy to be aware of. So that's their secondary. It's not as deep as Houston's is. The top end talent is legit, but it's not as deep. Then you get into, I mentioned Riley Moss. This is the other big weakness of the Broncos defense that kind of goes to what that clip said. They're very aggressive, and they have the talent to be aggressive, but that aggressiveness hurts them. Mentioned big plays there, but penalties. No defense in the regular season was penalized more than the Denver Broncos. I think overall for a team, they're 3rd or 4th because the offense was much better in this regard. Defensively, the Broncos were called for 53 penalties this year, totaling 597 yards. Those are both league highs. A big part of that, Riley Moss called for a league-high 8 pass interference penalties. And it's not just him. Surtain, as good as he is, 5 pass interference calls this year, tied for 3rd. Surtain was also one of 7 players in the league called for multiple illegal contact penalties this year. Their secondary gets grabby. And if you're moving the ball down the field and you start to stress them, you might take advantage of them being a little grabby. If you're running good routes, looking at a guy like Pop Douglas, who's very hard to run with in man-to-man, and they play a lot of man-to-man. This could be an area to take advantage. Up front, too, by the way, not great. So not only did the Broncos lead the league with 20 pass interference penalties, they were also called for offsides 10 times. Most in the league. Second most roughing the passer calls in the league with 5. Malcolm Roach, one of their defensive tackles, one of 10 players with multiple roughing the passer penalties this year. Benito, 3rd most offsides penalties this year. Now, they were much better last week. They were only called for 1 defensive penalty. But it was almost costly. It was on the final drive of regulation. The Bills have a 3rd and 1. They probably could have run a tush-push to get it, but because of where the clock was, it wasn't ideal. And Jonathan Cooper, who rushes opposite Benito, I think it was technically a neutral zone infraction, not an offsides, but he gives them a free first down at a big moment in that game. So you can catch this Denver defense making mistakes. Now, you have to take advantage, and the Patriots can't commit penalties to give them back. And they can't, you got to, in the red zone and things like that, when you get the yardage, you have to take advantage. But you can catch this Broncos defense being sloppy. And if the Patriots are going to have a chance to win this game and maybe win it in the way some people want, expect them to win it, win big, it's taking advantage of the sloppy way the defense plays, the sloppy style of the defense. We'll get more into this game, plus your calls. I see you guys lining up, 617-779-0985. Couple open phone lines you want to join us. We can get a little into the Bruins and the Celtics, too, with their games coming up tonight. All of it on the table. We got another 45 minutes here leading up to Bruins pregame. It's Alex Barth on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. sports? Yeah, we got that covered. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Back here on 98.5 The Sports Hub, Alex Barth taking you up until Bruins coverage at 6:30 ahead of the AFC Championship game, ahead of a massive snowstorm. It's all on the table at 617-779-0985. We'll start with Jim in Weymouth. Jim, they got you at 1 to 2 feet. Over under 18 inches for you guys in Weymouth.
I originally come from East Weymouth. I wouldn't have followed it now, but no one in Weymouth might be over.
All right, we got an over for Weymouth on the board. Jim, what do you think of this game tomorrow?
And I remember the Blizzard of 78. Okay, the game tomorrow, I believe, I respect them as defense, no doubt about it, but the Patriots are going to be, Stidham's could be running for his life against their defense, and, they have balanced offense with a running game and the passing game, and they get, this team, the main thing, Alex, I want to make, this team would run through a wall for their coach. They love this guy. That's a big thing.
Yes.
In any sport.
Yes.
So I'm going to go with the Pats, like 24-10, something like that.
All right. 24-10. 24-10 and an over in Weymouth for the snow total. Also, thank you for bringing up the blizzard of 78. I cannot imagine how fast my dad would have called me when I got off the air if I did a show before a big snowstorm and did not mention the blizzard of 78. And everybody's dads and grandfathers and everything out there, get ready to hear a whole lot, no matter what happens tomorrow, about how it's not as bad as the blizzard of 78. That will be a common talking point tomorrow, I would expect. Sitting around waiting for the game to start. Oh, did you see how it is out there? Yeah, but it's not the blizzard of 70. It's not the blizzard of 78. Get ready for that. His point about Patriots defense, though. Keeping Jared Stidham running. Very important. If the Patriots can speed up Jared Stidham and get pressure on him, here's where I know there was a lot of discussion this week. Shout out Dan Orlovsky about, was the Patriots defense that good? CJ Stroud kind of sucked, whatever. CJ Stroud played terribly. But I don't think that game is who CJ Stroud is. That's his floor, but he doesn't play that way every week. The Patriots defense brought that out of him, mainly because getting pressure. A big difference in this game from that one and really the first two. The Texans and Chargers offensive line's bad. And the Texans had a couple backups in there. Not a good situation. The Broncos offensive line, maybe the best in the league. Run and pass game. Excellent offensive line. All pro left tackle, all pro right guard. This just broke here in the last, 10, 15 minutes. They're going to get Luke Wattenberg back from IR. They're starting center, so they'll have him. Their right tackle, Mike McGlinchey, got all pro votes. He's a very good player. This offensive line is elite. It is excellent. So if they can get pressure on Stidham, I think he'll look like Stroud last week, if not worse. But they have to get that pressure. Now, that being said, I like their wide receiver cornerback matchups across the board. Courtland Sutton's a good player. I respect Courtland Sutton. Christian Gonzalez, advantage Patriots. Carlton Davis on whichever rookie they're going to put on the other side, or Marvin Mims, advantage. Huge for them to get Carlton Davis back. Obviously, Marcus Jones in the slot. They should have the luxury. They should have the ability to send the blitz. And Zach Core has called 2 excellent games. He hasn't been afraid to be aggressive. They've sent the blitz from all different spots. We've seen Marcus Jones. We've seen Robert Spillane. We've seen Jalen Hawkins, Craig Woodson. They'll send it from everywhere. Not all at once, but they'll send it from everywhere. I want to see them keep the pedal to the metal and be that aggressive with the blitz again tomorrow, because you have to overwhelm this offensive line. I think the Patriots pass rush is better with Milton Williams back. Caleb on Chason is definitely on a hot streak right now. That helps.
Barmore's been a beast.
Barmore's been great. And he against Miners, their right guard, that last game in 2023, he was excellent. Now, Quinn Miner is a much better player now than he was 2 years ago, but Barmore had his number. That's a good point, George. But I'm not counting on getting pressure with 4. Not against this line. I think it might be better than it's been. I'm not relying on it, especially when, make Jared Stidham make these throws and make these guys beat Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis one-on-one in coverage. And if they do, you adjust. I want to see them come out blitzing early and often and get the heat up on Jared Stidham. I think that's tremendously important for the Patriots to do tomorrow. Let's go to Randy in Providence before your take, Randy. They got you guys at 10 to 15 inches. Over under 12 and a half inches of snow in Providence tomorrow.
I think the safe bet's always under down here. I think they always over-report.
All right, under in Providence. What do you got for us on the game?
Yeah, listen, 21-13 is my guess on the game tomorrow, Patriots. I got two questions for you, though, about two of the injured guys.
Yeah.
Number one, I think you touched on the Wattenberg thing.
Yeah, so they just activated him.
Healthy, right. And my question is, how healthy is he? He's coming back. He's rushing back because Forsyth got injured last week, so they'd have their third-string center playing if it weren't him. So he's rushing back from a shoulder injury. We got Barmore and Milton in the middle. I think you got to press him immediately right off the bat because a shoulder injury, you're trying to press back against guys like Barmore and Milton, you got to test that immediately and try and collapse that pocket from there. And if he can't play, the splits with him on and off the field versus the blitz, they go from the top offensive league in the line in the league to a very average offensive line when he's not on, even with the other guys. So, because the center is a key, linchpin of an offensive line.
I would assume he's going to play if they activated him. They brought J.K. Dobbins back this week, too, to practice, who'd been out with a foot injury, and another guy where it was night and day with him on the field or not, and he was not activated. He's not going to play. So I would assume if they're activating him, he's playing.
Starting the game and wanting to play and making it through an entire game against Farmore and Milton with a shoulder that's probably not 100% are two very different things.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I'm with you, Randy, 100%. What's your other point?
Dre Greenlaw, he came back last week, but Peyton kind of he was almost a little bit recoiled when he asked about whether or not he was strong enough to, plug the gaps or whatever the question was. He played about 40% of the defensive snaps last week, which is down from, he was playing 60 to 70 in the weeks he was playing during the season. What did you see from him last week? Do you think he's healthy enough? Do you think that we can run the ball on these guys? What do you see? Because I think the best answer is to run outside at Benito or Cooper, because they're both little guys, and you got to keep them defending the run instead of rushing the passer.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Randy. I thought Greenlaw's range was good. We'll see. He's another week healthier. They played him. Singleton, though, does a great job of cleaning things up, and they're still going to have Alex Singleton out there, who's going to be a help. But I'm with you on Wattenberg. And you made a good point. It's one thing to play. It's another thing to play well. Test him early and see where he's at. And I mentioned I want to see him to blitz. Maybe you mug up the linebacker. So mug linebacker means that guy's right there on the line of scrimmage. He's standing up. He's next to the defensive tackle. And maybe you bring some blitzes up the middle that way and make him try to handle it. And not just the physical side. He hasn't played in a few weeks. The mental side, too, and pass those blitzes off and communicate like that. Let's go to Phil in Florida. I don't have a snow total for you, Phil. I think you guys are going to look out. I know you might get some ice, so you get to go right to the game.
That's okay. I went through the blizzard of 78.
There we go. Blizzard of 78. Do you think it's going to be worse tomorrow than the blizzard of 78?
I really don't know. I know you're going to get whacked pretty good. But what I called about, because I keep hearing about this great Bronco defense, maybe you have, but did you take a look at the quarterbacks that they beat?
Yeah, so they're I don't have the exact list in front of me. I can pull up the schedule, but I know they had a weaker schedule, much like the Patriots did.
Yeah, I mean, Cam Ward, Jake Browning, Justin Fields, Jackson Dart, the backup for Kansas City, Olakun or something like that.
Oladokin, yep.
And the backup for the Chargers.
Yeah.
Those are just some of them, the ones that they knew. I mean, it's just because I keep hearing how good they are. I'm saying, well, wait a minute, who they play against? The other thing is, and I don't have it in front of me right now either, but if you look at their last, I think, 3 out of 5 games or 3 out of 4 games, the scores, they gave up a lot of points.
Yes, they did. Thanks for the call, Phil. They gave up a lot of points. They are good in close games, though. They were record-wise the best team in one-score games in the NFL this year. So they don't score a lot. They've been giving up more, but they can hang in those close games. But part of that was, and this is, to me, the big difference between Jarrett Stidham and Bo Nix. It's not a big picture thing. It's in moments. Bo Nix was able to make plays in big moments, with Jarrett Stidham having not started a game in 2 years, be able to do that. By the way, I just pulled it up. The list of quarterbacks that the Broncos faces here, and there's some backups in here. I just sorted it by pass attempts. Actually, I can sort it by week. That would be a lot easier, and that's going to include running backs. I'll tell you what, because it's an interesting point. We'll talk about it after these headlines here. 90 seconds, no commercials on the Sports Hub.
From the Tell Tire Studios, WBZ 7 HD1. It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Essential Sports Hub headline, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
We are now less than 24 hours away from the AFC Championship between the Patriots and Broncos tomorrow in Denver. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Coverage starts at noon right here on 98.5, the Sports Hub. Ahead of that game, the Patriots activated wide receiver Mac Hollins off IR. Hollins has been out since Week 14 with an abdomen injury. In addition to activating Hollins, the Patriots also elevated running back to Ernest Johnson and defensive tackle Leonard Taylor from the practice squad. The NFC Championship tomorrow as well. It's in the later window. It's an NFC West matchup with the Seahawks hosting the Rams. We're about half an hour away from puck drop between the Bruins and the Canadiens at TD Garden. Coverage starts at 6:30 right here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The Celtics are in the middle of a back-to-back. They beat the Nets in double overtime last night and visit the Chicago Bulls tonight. Coverage starts at 7:30 on our sister station, 105.7 WROR. The Bulls will be retiring Derrick Rose's jersey during that game. And in local college basketball, Ed Cooley and Georgetown beat Providence 81-78 this afternoon at the AMP, and UConn took down Villanova 75-67 in overtime. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Super Service Today. Winter is here. Don't get caught in the cold. Super Service Today delivers New England's most complete heating system health and safety check, catching problems before they catch you. Stay safe, stay warm. Book now at superservicetoday.com. I'm Alex Barth on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub, your next update during Bruins pregame.
The Sports Hub. 3 legendary franchises on one legendary radio station. It's the Sports Hub. In this town, sports happens 24/7. We're Boston's home for sports.
Bruins, Canadiens coming up here in a little less than half an hour on the station. We'll have Celtics coverage on 105.7 WROR. Obviously, the AFC Championship game tomorrow. We had a caller to that just asked if we knew who the Broncos had faced this year at quarterback. And I did pull up the list. And this is on par with the Patriots. Because this is what the AFC was this year. For everybody who wants to talk about the Patriots' week schedule, and it was, yes, they had an easy schedule. So did a lot of teams in the AFC, but the important context within that to me is the offenses they played sucked. They played a lot of legit defenses. It's not offenses that could do anything. And the Broncos, kind of similar. Here's their schedule this year at quarterback. Cam Ward, and I'm going to go in order. So Cam Ward, I think, had a good year, and I liked what I saw from Cam Ward, and I think the Titans are in relatively good shape. But that was his first ever NFL start. So it's a little different. Cam Ward, they did get red-hot Daniel Jones early, put up 316 yards and touchdown on him. Then they got Justin Herbert. He put up 300. Jake Browning, Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts played well against them. 280, 2 touchdowns. Justin Fields, that was the game in England where they had so many sacks. They had 9 sacks. The Jets finished with negative 10 passing yards. Fields threw for 45. They had 55 yards of sacks. So far we have Ward, Jones, Herbert, Browning, Hurts, Fields. They got Jackson Dart very early in his starting experience. Dak Prescott, and they did well against Dak, who had a good year. 188 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. CJ Stroud, who got hurt in that game, and then Davis Mills stepped in, and they were both fine. Geno Smith, they beat up on pretty good. Mahomes played okay against them. Mariota got him good. Remember, that was a primetime game. That was Sunday Night Football. Mariota, 28 of 50. 294 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick in overtime. He got him good. They almost won. Came down to the last play. Then down the stretch, Kenny Pickett, Geno Smith, Jordan Love, Lawrence tore him up. Lawrence was excellent, and that's when he was really on that heater, and they closed with Chris Oladokun and Trey Lance, 2 backups. So, They got a couple good quarterbacks on there. More than you might think. Maybe a couple more in the Patriots' face, but the good quarterbacks got them. The bad quarterbacks did not. And that also highlights something else. As good as this defense is, it's not a defense that turns the ball over a lot. They did last week against the Bills. They had 5 turnovers. They only forced 14 all season. So if the Patriots protect the ball, they should have some chances. You can't let them get back to where they were last week. Let's grab a couple more calls here. You want to join us? 617-779-0985. Doesn't just have to be Patriots. I do have a thought on tonight's Celtics game I do want to get to. But first, we will go to Steve in Pembroke. And Steve, we're going to do, as we're doing, getting ready for the storm. I love the snow over-unders. They got you guys at 10 to 15 inches in Pembroke. Over-under 12.5.
Oh, I'm going over. I work in Dorchester. I live in Pembroke. I'm definitely going over. It's going to be a mess.
Okay, what do you got on the game?
So I don't really have many concerns for the game. Honestly, I think we're a better team overall. The only concern I have, I think, and I kind of wanted your perspective on it, is say if I fast forward to the end of the game, last quarter, it's neck and neck, and the Broncos are down to like a 2-minute drill. Will the whole being the altitude thing affect the Patriots to the point where they're just going to get out endurance? And that's my concern.
It's a fair concern, Steve. Thanks for the call. It's a fair concern. I go back to, and I know there's been a lot made about when they went out. They realistically could not have gone out early enough to fully adjust to the conditions. Going out a day or two earlier than they did would not have made much of a difference. I go back to, they played that game in Tampa. It was a 4 o'clock game, so you have a relatively quick turnaround coming home. I think that was a 4 o'clock game, right? Or was that a 1 o'clock? Because I remember that was Nance and Romo. Either way, they had a quick turnaround because they were playing on Thursday night against the Jets. And when you play in South Florida, you play in Florida, whether it's Tampa, whether it's Miami, the way that game dehydrates you is different than playing anywhere else. It is a real factor. Now, it is more of a post-game factor than an in-game factor, and I talked to David Andrews about this on our podcast. Even going into the next week, it can still weigh with you. And the Patriots training and strength and conditioning staff had a whole plan set up for players from the moment the game ended, getting guys on IVs, guys going for treatment right off the plane before they went home, things like that, to quickly turn around and be ready for that Jets game on Thursday night. And obviously it worked out. Mike Vrabel, even after that game, I think it was the first thing he said at the podium, talked about how that plan made such a difference. They've talked a lot this week about how hydrating is going to be important to be ready for the conditions, doing some extra conditioning work to be ready for it. I trust them to be prepared for it. That doesn't mean it won't be a factor. I trust them, though, that they're going to have the best plan they can. And it's going to be somewhat of a factor. It's about mitigating it. But the best way to do it, the best way to mitigate it, to the caller's point there, if it's a late 2-minute drill, where they're going to be at, don't leave it up to that. It's a backup quarterback. It's Jarrett Stidham. Don't have the ball in his hands with 2 minutes to go. The Patriots shouldn't be in that point. That's the best way to avoid it. Let's go to Spence in Beverly before your take, though. They got you guys at 12 to 18 inches, so 14.5 over-under for Beverly.
Over.
All right. A lot of overs today. People are feeling this storm. What do you got on this
great
game,
show, man? Oh, I got some great stuff. First and foremost, you're not running up the middle on New England. It's just not going to happen with Milton Williams and Barmore coming after you.
And Kyrus Tonga.
So, right, exactly. And what are you going to do, Stidham? Seriously. You haven't thrown a ball in 2 years in a game. You're going to break down that secondary now of New England? Are you kidding me? Guys that are starters are much better than him, couldn't even touch it. They make them look like fools. The defense for New England is unbelievable right now. They've gelled late. And here's the other thing.
Yeah.
Drake May, even when he messes up, he doesn't have a great game, he still pulls off 2 or 3 plays. They're going to destroy you. He's going to kill you with 2 or 3.
So,
he hit Booty. He hit Stephon. It's like, even when he screws up.
Spence, I got to ask you, this is probably the most confident caller we've had all day. I got to ask you this. You said over 14.5 inches in Beverly for snow. What number is bigger, the snow total in Beverly or the number of points the Patriots win this game by?
Patriots are going to win by, this is my thought, they're going to probably win by 17. Can you imagine that?
Okay.
17 points. Put me down for it. Because I don't see Stidham beating you, and that defense is not as good as the Texans. So you add this thing up, and they talk about the air. Vrabel's not worried about it. He's bringing them in there. They got a job to do, and they're going to come out, and they're going to be victorious. And Sean Payton better watch out with the run in his mouth. He gave him billboard material this week, which he should have never done. You don't wake up the lion, and they did. And they're going to be done. Denver's going to be done. New England's going to the Super Bowl. Watch out. Here we go.
Great call, Spence. It's 17 points. That's it. I'm going to be interested in that one tomorrow. Snow number of inches versus margin of the game. I think the snow total is going to be higher. I said this. I'm not quite as confident as Spence. I think the Patriots will win. I think they should win. 17's a lot. Because you're still going to have to score on this defense to get to 17. And again, Jared Stidham's not lining up a corner, and he's not rushing the passer. But there's nothing wrong with being confident. And if Spence is right, I hope he calls back in next time I'm on and reminds me of that. I hope he does. He did say something in there, though, that I think is an important part of what this Patriots playoff run has been and important to understand. He mentioned that even when Drake May has not played well, he's made a couple of plays. That's been the game the last 2 weeks. Drake May didn't play well, but when he needed to make a play against the Chargers, the scramble at the end of the half, the touchdown throw to Hunter Henry. Against the Texans, 4th down, staring down zero blitz early in the game to pop Douglas over the middle for the touchdown. The throw to Stephon Diggs in the tight window. Obviously, tremendous throw to Kayshon Boutte at the end of the game. When he needed to make a play, he made a play. And as long as he can keep doing that, the Patriots will be all right. Ideally, he's better. And I know some people, myself included, kind of have this thing in the back of their heads. He's not going to play 3 games like that in a row, is he? Like, he's got to be better eventually. And if he comes out and just balls out tomorrow, Jared Stidham's not going to be able to keep up. But so many times the playoffs, and we saw Brady did this. For every gem Tom Brady had in the playoffs, you can find games where he maybe didn't play his best, but he kept him in it. And late in the game, when he needed to make a play, he made a play or two, and it put him over the top. And if Drake May can do that, that is high-level quarterbacking as much as anything else. Because it's so hard at the quarterback position. You got to have a short memory. It's so hard when you're not playing well to dig out of it and still step up and make that tough play. And that's what Drake May's done the last 2 weeks, and they definitely are going to need him to do that tomorrow, if not more. Not as confident as the caller? I don't know how many people are more confident. That was a tour de force. Felger was asking this week. I saw the clip the other day. Where are all the overly confident Patriots fans? They're in Beverly, apparently. But again, they should win, and Drake May's a big part of that. The Patriots have undoubtedly, there may not be, if we're going to split up who is the advantage here, there, wherever, there may not be a bigger advantage than at the quarterback position, and that is in favor of the Patriots. We're going to take our final break. Last chance to call in, 617-779-0985. You want to join us, but I do want to get to the Bruins and the Celtics both playing tonight. We'll talk about that next. It's Alex Barth here on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for
White helmets and white sweaters with blue numbers trimmed in red. And
right away.
Here we go at the opening face-off. We're going to get Tanner Janot and Jaden Struble.
I think about those nights in Montreal.
Here we go.
And here we go. It's going to be Zadorov and Xhekaj.
Yep.
And they are going to skate all the way out to center ice.
Why not do
link up?
Why not do it right at center ice?
And Zadorov presses him to the ice.
Hockey night in Canada, Saturday night in
Montreal. Back here on 98.5 The Sports, and that's what it'll be in 10 minutes. Good rivalry matchup tonight at TD Garden. The Bruins and Habs before Snowstorm takes over Boston and all of New England. The last game between these two teams was it right before New Year's, right before Christmas? It was right before a holiday. I think it was New Year's
right before
Eve.
Christmas on the 23rd.
Yeah.
Another slugfest. The Bell Center and at TD Garden.
They came right out fighting. Now, the Bruins choked it away in the third period. They allowed 4 goals. So hopefully it doesn't end like that. But that rivalry's back a little bit. Now that Montreal's decent again, like that rivalry has some juice. I'm looking forward to this one tonight. This should be fun. And the Bruins are playing well. Frankly, that was kind of the end. They lost 2 more games after that, but that was towards the end of that real bad skid they had in December. They've only lost 4 times since that loss to Montreal, and 2 of them were in the 2 ensuing games. So I'm expecting the Bruins to come with a real edge tonight. The edge they had in that rivalry before. Plus, well, they just beat you 6-2 and bouncing back in that. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to watching that tonight. And then for the Celtics, guys, teased this earlier. I have a take that's not so much about the Celtics. The Celtics were awesome game last night. Super fun game. They're clicking. They're continuing, as I've said. This season, at least to this point, and for what's probably another couple weeks, if not a couple months, is about giving Jason Tatum something to come back to. And coming back to a team that looks like when they add him will be a championship contender, or at least a team that can come out of the East. And they continue to do that. That was a gritty, awesome win last night. The other cool thing about this game, I actually didn't realize this until earlier today. They're retiring Derrick Rose's jersey tonight in Chicago. One of my all-time favorite, like you do the list of like favorite athletes who never played for one of your teams. And even after he came back from all the injuries, when he had that stint with the Knicks and be a free agent here or there, I always wanted them to add him as a backup point guard. I thought he would add a lot of grit to some of those younger Celtics teams. Huge fan of his. One of the great what-ifs in sports if he could have stayed healthy. As the whole three-point era was taking off, a guy that was truly elite at attacking the basket, one of the best dunkers I've ever seen, an absolute bucket. It sucks we didn't get to see him at his full power for a long time, but I'm kind of looking forward to seeing that tonight, and just the clips that we'll see on social media and on the broadcast. I'm sure the Celtics will mention it a little bit. One of the great what-ifs in terms of injuries for me. I was always a big fan of Derrick Rose, always liked watching him. Glad to see him do that tonight. I hope the Celtics win. I hope the Celtics ruin his party, but I just kind of saw that today, and I was like, it also just made me feel old, like, oh man, we're already there with Derrick Rose, but heck of a player, deserves the honor. One of my, like you asked me, what kind of basketball player do I really want to watch? Derrick Rose is high on that list. Give me the guy that attacks the basket with violence. He's a violent basketball player in a good way. Give me that guy. Let me watch that guy any day of the week. So, hope he enjoys tonight, but not too much, because I'd obviously like to see Celtics. So, we'll wrap it up here with a couple more Patriots calls. And again, we got the snowstorm coming up. So, if you call in, I want the over-under, but I was not prepared for Pepperell, so I'm going to have to pull up the forecast. So, Mike, what are your thoughts on the game?
Listen, I think it's going to be a close game no matter what, even without Bo Nix. But I think with Stidham, you can't sleep on him. He's a 7-year pro. He started games before. He's going to see the game a little, easier than a rookie quarterback going in. I think execution-wise, he'll be fine. But where the variable is going to be is, and I think it was after the Chargers game, the offense said to the Patriots defense, we didn't know what you guys were doing 80% of the time, the way you guys disguise things. I think that's where it's going to slip Stidham up, because this is not a typical defense he's going to be used to. And what the Patriots interim defensive coordinator, I forget his name, Zach Core.
He
has done a great job Yeah, he's done a great job with the disguising of the defense. I think that is where the Patriots are going to win this game, is throwing Stidham off and confusing him. And I'm looking forward to it, but I do think it's a close game. Don't sleep on Stidham. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got the experience. It's the Patriots against him. And then my second point is going to be, if the Patriots do win and Seattle wins, I would love for the Patriots to bring in Malcolm Butler as like an honorary captain for that game. Wouldn't that be the coolest thing to have him there out there with the guys?
That'd be quite the full circle moment. Mike, two things. No, he still got him. Don't forget the name Zach Core. He's been huge in their first 2 playoff wins. He's going to be huge if they win again. Also, they got you guys 12 to 18 inches in Pepperell. Over under 15. What do you get by the time it's all said and done?
Oh, it's the over. We always get screwed out here. Pepperell is like one of those small towns no one hears about until it's a snowstorm. We always make the map as one of the highest.
I feel like I always see a news crew posted up there, too. That's one of the places they send them.
Always. You never hear about us until the snow, and then we're always one of the leaders. So if we're going to lead anything, I guess it's in snow. I wish it wasn't the case. And just to top the thing on Zach real quick, too, why are the Patriots talking about replacing him after this year if Williams doesn't come back? I think he's done a great job. I think he's earned the ability to come back. I think the players love him. This team is very special. Why would you want to mess with that chemistry?
So thanks for the call, Mike. I haven't seen anybody, I don't know what he's referring to. Maybe I missed it, talking about replacing him. I mean, they're going to have to do, Terrell Williams is under contract as the defense coordinator. So what happens with him? Does Core get a promotion? Do they co-DCs? Does Williams' title change? Like, they're going to have to figure out something, but I'd be all for Zach Core coming back next year. Absolutely. A lot of overs. A lot of people picking the overs for the snow. I don't know. Are we in for a letdown here? Are we in for a little bit of a letdown? I'll be watching, though. I do love... I'm a big... I'll put on local news during the storm. I love to see the coverage, and I always find it funny. This is more like when we get the hurricane coverage, and it's not local. We're watching in Florida or wherever, but the poor reporters have to go out and stand in the middle of the storm. They're out there for hours. Do they really think we're not going to believe it's snowing? Like, no, we don't. We got the reporter out there to show you the snow is real. Because they're in the studio, you might not believe it. And credit to the reporters. I see people getting creative with what they're doing with the snow around them or this or that, the people in the background. I don't know. I just as a little bit of a broadcast nerd.
Get the dash cam.
Right. Having been working in this field my entire life, I enjoy seeing the local news storm coverage. It's fun. So everybody's going to be out there. Remember, for everybody who's on air, there's a camera person there, too, running the... There might be 3 people. There might be a producer, too. I don't know how all the different stations do it, but... So if you're out there doing that tomorrow, best of luck to you. I'll be watching. I'll be flipping through the channels, all of them. So I'll see you out there tomorrow. I'll have them on in here. I'm going to be on from 8 to 12 with Matt Dolph, Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff, coming right back. Obviously, everybody, if you're a first responder tomorrow, thank you so much for everything you're going to do for us, for keeping everybody safe in what's, I'm sure it's going to be a hectic day. The plow drivers taking care of the roads. I will be leaving here at about 12:30. Because I'm staying for Sports Hub Sunday Kickoff, so I will, in person, very much be appreciating your work. Looking forward to doing that. Stay safe. Make sure if you have a house that has one of those vents kind of low, dig that out so that the gases can get out. Always make sure you do that. And stay safe. Enjoy the storm. And enjoy the game. We still have a couple minutes here, but I just wanted to make sure I got all that out, so I wasn't rushing past it. And it was interesting that call about... if the Patriots make the Super Bowl, if it's the Seahawks, I really have thought, this is how you know it's different. This is how you know it's been a few years. This will be my closing thought. I haven't thought much about that. I had somebody text me today, like, who do you want to win the NFC if they make it? I really have not. Probably the Rams. I feel like I haven't thought about that as much as I used to back in the heyday. Is that just me, George, or?
Oh, no, it's not you. I would say that... We can't overlook Denver in this case, and whatever the NFC matchup will be, it has to be the hardest matchup of the season.
They're both going to be brutal. There's no... I don't really think there's an easier path. But enjoy the game. And you know what? That's the thing. I think everybody's really enjoying this more. We had it stripped from us for 5 years, and now we're back. And seeing the crowds at Gillette the last couple weeks, I think there's another level of appreciation. And I'm enjoying it, and I hope you are too. And I hope you've enjoyed
front and center hating us again
the last 90 minutes. If you want more of this, I'll be back tomorrow, 8 a.m., 8 to noon. Matt Dolph, we've got some guests lined up. We're going to have a ton of fun. We're going to break this whole thing down for you left, right, and sideways. But before that, we got the Bruins. We got the Celtics. Fun 24 hours to be a Boston sports fan. Enjoy all of it. I'm Alex Barth. I'll be back to talk to you guys tomorrow. George, great job as always. Go Bees, go C's, go Pats. Talk to you tomorrow morning.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, this is Boston's home for sports. WBZ-FM at HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub. The Media Group station. This is Boston Bruins hockey.
Oh, they are! Scores for the Boston Bruins!
Boston Bruins hockey is brought to you by your local New England Honda dealers, Shaw's and Star Market, Safety Insurance, Town Fair Tire, Granite City Electric's GCE Night Train, Ticketmaster, your New England Ford dealers, Blue Sky Restoration Contractors, TD Bank, Service Credit Union, and by Catches Law.
2 seconds, 1 second, it's over! The Bruins have won the Stanley Cup!
And by Dairy Queen, Peerless Boilers, your New England Chevy dealers, Timber Tech Decking and Railing, Charles D. Sheehy, Mass Mutual, Wendy's, Live Nation, your Boston area Lexus dealers, Tito's Handmade Vodka, and by Valvoline.